What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go over the new Sidearm Breachlight from Season of the Dawn, which you can farm on the Tangled Shore Obelisk or in the Sundial. And I'll be comparing this to Recluse off and on in this video because Recluse was the old / current meta for PvE primaries. So for a primary to be considered one of the best in the game, it pretty much has to go through Recluse to be considered at that top spot. And I think we might just have a contender on our hands. So first, going over the Recluse change, it hits 325 on the head, then 197 on the body, then with Massive Arms procced, and now hits 391 on the head, then also 237 on the body now, which means it's going to be a 20.3% increase to the head and body. It used to only be a 20.3% increase to the head, and the body was almost 100% increase. And that changes a lot about the weapon. Up close, it's still relatively the same because you're going to be hitting a lot of headshots, and the headshot damage didn't get changed. But once you get outside that optimal range, which is like 15 feet, maybe like 10 meters, the aim assist and bullet magnetism really falls off, and it's really hard to hit those headshots even on mouse and keyboard. And you start hitting a lot of body shots, which before didn't really matter because you were doing the same amount of damage for the body and the head with the perk procced. But now that you're losing out on a lot of damage if you're hitting body shots, that is very important, and it makes this weapon a lot less effective at range, which means it's finally similar to pretty much every other 900 RPM SMG in the game. It's still a very solid SMG. I think people have mistaken me for saying Recluse would be bad. It's just as good, if not one of the better 900 RPM SMGs, depending on what perks you like. It's just that it's no longer a standout in that group, and now it has all the downsides of SMGs. Now we compare that to the Breachlight, which is going to be a 325 RPM sidearm, which is a hard-hitting 2-burst fire weapon, and this weapon actually has a lot of range to it. As you see, the range stat is very high in the 60s. This weapon can pretty much one-burst every red bar in the game, pretty much body-shotting them, let alone headshotting them. So the damage output of this weapon is extremely high for a primary. This thing goes right through red bars without even a damage perk, let alone majors. Once you throw in a damage perk, majors get shredded too. So looking at the damage on Greg, it hits 1993 per shot, so that's twice per burst for a total of 3,986. Now looking at Recluse, it hits 756 on the head. Now looking at the rate of fire to see the DPS of these two weapons, one magazine of each. The Breachlight took 4.134 seconds, meaning the DPS is 11,570, which is actually really high for a primary that doesn't even have a damage perk on it. Now looking at Recluse, shooting off one magazine, 36 bullets, that took 2.317 seconds, which means 11,746 DPS, which is just slightly higher than that of the Sidearm. But once again, those numbers were without damage perks at all. So with Master of Arms on Recluse, then also multi-kill clip on Breachlight, which is going to be the highest damage buff in the game. With that 50% increase, we now hit for 2989. Then with Recluse with Massive Arms, we hit 908 on the head, which means the DPS of multi-kill clip on the Sidearm would be 17.3 thousand. The Massive Arms is 14.1. So as you see, with a damage perk, the Sidearm DPS is actually higher. And you may be thinking, well, why does DPS matter for a primary? It's not like you're going to be using it versus a boss, but DPS can be used for different things, and it can kind of tell you a lot about a weapon, not necessarily what it's going to do versus a single target. It can kind of tell you how quick the time to kill versus different types of enemies will be, and which one will be better. So even for red bars and majors, for primaries, a DPS number can tell you which one will be a little bit better. Then we start looking at the range on these two weapons. From the same amount of range, the Sidearm simply kills in less time. And this becomes more and more clear the further back you go. The Recluse just drops off at some point, and it's very, very hard to actually hit the enemy, while the Sidearm still maintains pretty good damage. Pretty much once I get to this range with the Sidearm, I take roughly like 6 bursts to kill the enemy, but with the Recluse, I'm taking over a full magazine at this range, and I'm on mouse and keyboard where I can very easily control the recoil. So these results would be even greater if I was using a controller compared to mouse and keyboard, and at this range I still take 6 or 7 bursts with the Sidearm to kill the enemy, and I'm taking well over a magazine with Recluse, and it's very hard to maintain it even on mouse and keyboard. And once again, these are without damage perks at all. If I throw in multi-kill clip, the range should be even that much better than Recluse because of the fact I'm going to be doing 30% more damage with that damage buff compared to the 20% of Master of Arms. And that brings me to the perks on this weapon. The perks on this weapon are just straight up god tier. You have Outlaw, you have multi-kill clip. That is one of my favorite roles. Then you also have Demolitionist in the left slot, which means you can still use a damage perk in the right slot. For example, Rampage. And I also have this one with Drop Mag. Then I have another one, as you'll see right here, which has more range, which I use in my Warlock build more often because I don't necessarily need to reload. Then the final one I like a lot is going to be Osmosis with Demolitionist, then also once again trying to get max range with Accurized rounds and things like that. So highlighting why I consider the 3 god rules on this weapon, the first one's going to be Outlaw multi-kill clip with as much range as humanly possible. The more the better, because of the fact Outlaw already reloads pretty much as fast as possible, and this role is really good just for basic ad clear. Once you get multi-kill clip times 3 going, you're going to start even majors, ultras, whatever you want, and it's very easy to maintain multi-kill clip compared to something like kill clip. My next favorite role is going to be Demolitionist Rampage, once again with max range, or drop mag if you're not on Warlock, and that's going to be because of the fact with Devour, you can get your grenade very quickly, which means you pretty much never have to reload, you just can throw your grenade and reload with Demolitionist, as you see right here, and I like Rampage with this role over multi-kill clip because of the fact that I'm never reloading. But if you're not playing Devour and getting your grenade every like 3 or 4 kills, you might want multi-kill clip because you're going to be reloading more often with drop mag. So depending on exactly what character you're playing and what subclass, the Demolitionist plus damage perk roll might be a little bit different. Then the final god roll will be Osmosis with Demolitionist, once again with max range, or attempting to get max range the most I can get. This time with a minor spec compared to Rampage spec with the Rampage one or something like that. And on Warlock, you can pair this with Nezarec Sin and Devour, and you can consume your grenade to proc Devour, changes the weapon to Void as you see right there. Then it procs Nezarec Sin perk, also Devour and Demolitionist all at the same time, so you get your grenade very quickly with this build and it's very fun. Also this build will be very good for match game Nightfalls. So anyways, those are my 3 god rolls to look for on this weapon. A really good multi-kill clip with Outlaw, a really good Demolitionist plus damage perk depending on what you want, either Rampage or multi-kill clip. If you have Rampage, I recommend going for range. If you have multi-kill clip, I recommend going for drop mag. Then finally, Osmosis plus Demolitionist is another really good perk. Anyways, I truly believe this weapon is better than Recluse, and I think it will be the new meta for PvE. This weapon can pretty much one burst every red bar in the game, pretty much body shot burst them, let alone headshot them. And then it shreds majors depending on which perk you have, doing like 15 to 17,000 DPS, which is really good for a primary, almost up there with some specials. And the range on these sidearms right now with the buff they did to aim assist for them feels a little bit better than SMG range. So if you're used to the range that you can use a SMG at, well, it's pretty much the same range for these sidearms, but a little bit better. And a huge thing about sidearms right now is a lot of PC players on mouse and keyboard are all agreeing sidearms feel amazing right now, and we can easily control SMGs with mouse and keyboard, and we're still saying sidearms are just as good, if not better. So I can only imagine the input controller players would have for this conversation, and I'm assuming sidearms are way better than SMGs right now on console. So anyone that plays on controller on PC or on console, please let me know what you think about Recluse and other SMGs right now versus these sidearms. Do you agree with me saying that sidearms might just be the new meta in PvE for Destiny 2? Anyways, let me know. I'm super excited in the future to check out some of the other sidearms in the game, especially energy ones. So I will probably have a video in the future breaking down all different kinds of sidearms and which one is the best. But right now, I definitely love this one because of the perks it has. And also the 2-round burst just feels really good. Anyways, the rest of the video will just be some gameplay with this sidearm. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.